Ladies and gents, folks of YouTube, welcome back. Another beautiful fall day up here in Northern California. And as usual, we are rocking and rolling. Damon is over here working on the RM370. And we just wrapped up the Blaster. Fun little project. Seemed like you guys really liked that one. We got another quad. Another quad to deal with. Honda 400EX. This is one of my favorite quads. I owned one of these when I was a kid, and I put gazillions and gazillions of hours on it and had tons and tons of good times. Just a really good design. You know, this is back when Honda was building really good stuff. It's based off of the XR400 engine, and these quads normally are really reliable. This one's been neglected a bit. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So don't let the new tires fool you, because this thing's been abused a little bit and definitely parked outside. She's got a little rust going on, broken plastics, doesn't run. I think she's been sitting a while. Our friend, the owner, just wants us to get it going and all that good stuff. Brand new tires, brand new chain. The rest of the bike definitely needs some attention. The battery is dead. He actually gave us some parts. Apparently the rear brake, oh yeah, totally froze up. So we have a new master to put on there and a new line, and I will do that. But before we do anything, as usual, we're hitting it with the power washer, because I don't stick my fingers in areas like that look like Black Widow spidered messes. But yeah, fun little project. Let's dig into her. Well, Uno's already giving it the sniff test. Oh, that bad, huh, bud? Oh my goodness, what's it smell like? Disgusting? So I gave Mellow Yellow a little bath here, and it's not looking any better. I'll show you guys. I hope the lighting's sufficient, but yeah, and you can see on this guy that he's got some rust issues. And let this be a lesson to you guys, especially you youngsters that watch my channel. Wash your stuff when you're done riding it. Just keeping stuff clean makes it last 100 times longer. Even though this dude parks this thing outside, which is already bad for it, the big deal is you can't park stuff covered in mud, because it traps in the moistures. And you can see, like, this is critical area right here as far as the frame goes. And it's fine right now, and it's going to be fine for a few years, but you got to think down the road. You know, to really save this thing, it should be stripped and powder coated and done right if you want it to last. And as you can see, they will last if you take care of them. That's an 82, that's an 83, I think that's an 83. You know, these things are in way better condition that old than this thing is probably like an 04 or something, and it looks like crap. But we're going to clean her up and at least mechanically get her back to good. But my goodness, like, look at how loose the lug nuts aren't even tight. And these are the wrong wheels, too, for this bike. These look like they are off of a Suzuki Z400. All right, guys, just to be sure, because we've been having all kinds of weird issues coming in, we hooked her up to the old truck ski. Turn the kill switch off because we don't want it to start up. This thing doesn't have any oil in it, or none that's showing up on the dipstick. But it turns over, so that is a good sign, and we can move farther and buy some parts. And with the magic of YouTube, it's tomorrow, and let's dig into this 400. So here's the old rusty 400, and I ordered some stuff for it, so the battery and the oil filter is on the way. But first things first, we can start on the brakes. The rear brake, is totally frozen, doesn't move at all, and it looks like that's new because it doesn't match anything else. But my God, look at that rotor, and it is tore up. So we'll probably order a new one of those, but let's see if we can get it to work first. How about this? We got brand new, genuine Honda parts going on here, and that's pretty neato. I'm a little bit concerned with all the rust on this bike on getting these bolts out. Like, this thing is so rusty. So I'm thinking we're going to put some penetrating oil on it first, and then be gentle with it, and maybe bust out the torch if we have to. This thing also, man, why would you spray paint the freaking just everything? Don't do that. If you have a quad and you're thinking about spray painting, don't. Well, we're 2 bolts in and the carnage has already begun. Thankfully this one popped loose, but this guy right here, no such luck. And I used heat and everything, and that bad boy does not want to come out. So I've been debating on like cutting a slot in it. I've done that before. I don't know. I'm going to try to drill it out a little bit, and we'll see if the easy out will pull it out. But this sucks. We'll get it out of there one way or another, but this tab is part of the frame, and the nut is like welded to the back. And I don't want to get into like having to remake that and do crazy welding, so hopefully we can just zip it out of there. Another thing I've done in the past is welded a bolt to this, to, you know, whatever stuck, but that's a lot of work too. All right, guys, so I started on this last night, but I had to quit because we had other stuff going on. But Damon was able to get the frozen bolt out with an easy out, and now he's working on getting this rear brake setup off. But the whole pedal is actually frozen, even though the master cylinder is unbolted and all that. The pedal itself is frozen because this thing is a rust bucket. All right, guys, we're digging into her now, and check this bad boy out. This thing was just kicking Damon's ass. This clamp is nice and rounded out for us, and just the joys of working on old stuff that's rusty, and it's not making it easy, but did get the carb off, and we're going to tear into that thing and give it a clean. These carbs are a little bit more complex. They got a accelerator pump and all that good stuff, but for the factory carb, it's actually a pretty good setup. So check her out. Yeah, she's definitely in need of a cleaning. It's got the crusties and the corrosions going on. All right, guys, the carburetor's back in, and we're going to see if this pig runs. Damon went through the carburetor. He's real confident it's just going to start up and purr like a kitten.
Choke, probably, I don't know which way. Up toward the, straight up this way is choke.
Is on.
Okay, and
got
now.
Key on. Kill switch is on. All right, guys, let's see if she bangs. Let's set this down here. Is it on her? All right, ladies and gents, the fun of working on motorcycles just never stops, and cleaning the carb, new battery, and all that still doesn't run, so we're going to pull the plug and go from there. Yay. All right, we think we got it figured out. Hopefully this bike is all stock and it still has the parking brake set up on it, and I think they have a safety switch where the parking brake has to be on if you're going to start the bike. We were getting no spark, but it cranks. So pulled the plug. The plug actually looks really good. Best part of the whole bike. But we're gonna put it back in, and hopefully this time it'll start up. Wish us luck. There's there. Let's put the choke on. Oh, there we go.
Choke is forward, right?
Choke. So the carb's coming back out again, and I'm thinking that we should check the valves because this thing is not doing good when it gets warm. And the owner had told me that it would start and then run for a bit and then not want to start again and not want to run. So got a couple issues going on. We did go through the carburetor, but it's piston fuel, so could be a stuck float, something like that. And then yeah, these valves. Thankfully, these are not insanely hard to adjust if they are out, and they're pretty easy to check. And we have half the bike apart already, so that always helps out big time. Another potential problem we got going on here is this looks like some kind of aftermarket kill switch tether BS. I have no idea, but we're going to disconnect it because, you know, it's real hokey pokey rigged in there, and when I was trying to start it, if I push the button, it would run. But they got it hooked to the coil, and oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, we got it running, and we got it running smooth. Everything seems kosher on it. So we've discovered that this little guy right here is definitely giving us issues. We pushed it in and out 1,000 times. I'm guessing the connection was bad. I think the best thing to do is take that off altogether. But runs good. What do you think, Damon?
I think it runs really good.
Yeah. The old Hon turd's not giving it up easy, but we're not giving up either. So we figured out how to eliminate this thing. We're just... This just plugged in. It looked a little bit more complicated than it actually was. It's got a little ground. We're going to take that off and take this off the switch. And then no more electrical nightmares because of a faulty kill switch. And if you're not racing one of these things, why would you have that on there? That's like off of a jet ski or something. Let's get that out of here.
Forget about it.
Yeah. So as I finished the Honda here, I noticed another thing. I don't know if you could tell, I actually had to measure, but this wheel sticks out a little farther than that wheel. And then I also noticed that the valve stem is on the inside, so we're going to flip that around. And on the front, well, he's just going to have to deal with this because I don't feel like taking that wheel off, but they put the tire on backwards. So, man, I don't know who was working on this thing before me, but they must have been on the beers. Alright guys, that is going to be a wrap on the Mellow Yellow Honda 400EX. Let's take a look and I'll show you what we did to her. So first things third, we put a new brake system on, well, a new master cylinder, and we had to fix the brake lever a little bit, the foot lever here, but everything is working really good now, so that's good. Did an oil change. Cleaned the carb. We actually had the carb off a couple times because it was leaking after we cleaned it. Turned out it was just the drain screw, and apparently it's a common problem on these. On my personal one, I never had any issues. But while we were in there, went ahead and put new lines on stuff, of course, that needed it. That was a big deal. But now it seems to run pretty good. And I realized in my last video that we did on the Blaster, I didn't show you guys when I took it for a ride. And I think you guys probably like to see that. So we're going to take this sucker for a rip. Unfortunately, it's raining out, but what the heck you going to do? It's been raining every day here for about a couple weeks now. I think we're a little over 14 inches of rain so far. So go take her for a rip. and get a little bit wet. But first, it's lunchtime. Oh, if you're saying to yourself it's awfully dark in my shop, well, it is, because the freaking power just went out. So I suppose it's a good time to go for a rip. Oh, the old 400. The old 400. Red Flintstone. You know, they eventually put reverse on these things. And I know exactly why. Oh yeah, boys, she runs good. She runs real good. Let's stop over here and check out the waterfall. So I told you guys it's been raining a lot here and the creek is flowing big time. Just a beautiful day to play in the rain. Just a beautiful day. Oh yeah, she's flowing big time now, boys. How's it going?
Good. How are you? Power out?
It just went out.
Oh, okay.